Where are we here? Okay. Welcome, everyone. Looks like we are live on Instagram. Welcome. Looks like we're live on TikTok. If you guys could give me a thumbs up, let me know that you can hear me and see me all right. That would be greatly appreciated. All right, same thing on Instagram. If you could give me a thumbs up, let me know that you can hear me and see me all right. That would be greatly appreciated. And let's see where we are here. All right, and it looks like we are live on YouTube. So this is the yes or no question show. Welcome everyone on YouTube. So you guys can drop your $10 donation and ask whatever question it is that you have on any topic under the sun. I do ask that you include the first name or the initials of a specific person, place, or situation that you're referring to. And this is unlimited tonight. So you can ask as many questions as you like. And then I will tell you which way it's going to go. All right. So you guys voted this in for the 2026 show lineup. Thank you so much for supporting this when we ran this as a test show. I thought it was a lot of fun. So I'm excited to be back. This is the first one I believe we've done since the test show. So bear with us. Diana, my beautiful producer, and I are just working out the kinks on how exactly I want this show to run. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, the first one. So again, if you guys are tuning in right now, this is the yes or no question show. You could drop a question of any kind, and I will tell you which way it's going to go. What was that just popped up? Okay, Marshav3353. Good to see you. On that note, I just want to give a quick shout out to my YouTube members. Marsha V, Crystal Henhawk, Nature Calls You, Terry Cruz, Angie Johnson, Lucy Marsh, McKenna, Jennifer Cole, Jennifer Barone, Abby Hicks, Stella Marie, Yolanda Fisher, Kim Elizabeth, Denise Bennett, Jayla Hilly, Edgar Velardes, Melissa S., Christine Watts, Miami Heat, 305-ish, CJG, Shauna Dempsey, Demetris, Language Through Connection, Deanna Marie, Maraid D, Chicken Mama, Tristan Marion, Me Love 716, Andrea M, and Vanessa. I appreciate you guys so much. Now, if you're tuning in and you want to become a YouTube member, go on to my YouTube channel at AskIvy the Medium. Hit the join button and it will show you the 3 different tiers of membership options. So my YouTube members get like a monthly horoscope, an Ask Ivy exclusive show, monthly mini class, weekly spirit messages, a direct email reading, which literally pays for the entire subscription itself, and more. Check it out. A couple quick announcements while we let everyone tune in. Psychic mediumship course has begun. It is the only one in 2026. If you want to get in for a late register, reach out and we'll see what we can do for you. We are entering into week 2. All right. So next week is one of the classes that we do in the psychic mediumship course that's open to the public. That is the empathic awareness training. Now, I've been teaching empathic awareness at universities, in public school systems. I've been training doctors, therapists, educators, neurodivergents, empaths, and parents, okay, for a really long time, about 15 years now. And you can attend through the comfort of your own home, but registration is limited. So go ahead and get registered. Again, the class is next Tuesday. That's going to be at 7 p.m. Eastern. If you want to join us live, you can also get the video download from that, or it's already available up on the website, Ivy Rivera, psychicmedium.com. If you want to watch the video now, you don't want to wait for class. We also have coming up Coffee with Your Angels and Meet Your Guides classes. So Meet Your Guides is also one of the oldest classes I've been teaching the last 15 years as part of the psychic mediumship course. There were so many requests for it. I opened that one up to the public as well. All right, so meet your guides class. If you want to meet all of the 5 guides appointed to you at birth and better understand how to communicate with them, what they do, you're going to want to get registered for that. You took it down right before I was able to read it, Diana. That's going to be, thank you, March 3rd. Coffee with your angels, meeting the 2 angels that are appointed to you and understanding how they communicate, what their role is in your life. That's going to be March 10th. All right, so tune in for that. If you want to book a haunted sleepover here at the 1882 Victorian Funeral Home, with up to 25 of your friends. We are on the Haunted History Trail of New York State. We are on the Historical Trail of Chautauqua County. You may want to do that, so check it out. We are under the Francis Rhodes House, or this is presently the Ivy League Psychic Academy. You can also book a ghost hunt with your group or a historical tour, so check it out. If you need to book a reading, a psychic fair, or a party with me, go to Ivy Rivera, psychicmedium.com. I do work internationally. It's a simple self-booking system, and I have plenty of hours available. I've tried to really spread it out so that even if, say, like, you know, you're in India, for example, you should be able to get something on the schedule. If the schedule is not going to work for you, you can just get a video reading or an email reading. Always a possibility. Okay. And for those of you who want to book an in-person reading, yes, you can do that, but that's not available up on the website. That's going to have to go through my assistant. So you're going to just reach out to the number on the website and say, I don't want a phone reading. I want an in-person reading, and they'll get you set up. All right. Let's see where we are. Looks like we got a few coming in. All right. So I'll do my intro and we'll get right into this. All right. Welcome, everyone. I'm Ivy Rivera. I'm a psychic medium, Italiano Airwalk, and this is the yes or no question show where you ask any type of question under the sun, and I tell you which way it's going to go. Now, please do include the first name or at least the initials if you are referring to a specific place, person, or thing. This is unlimited tonight. I can't always do that, but I can tonight. So you can ask as many questions as you want. So drop your $10 donation. If you're here on YouTube at Ask Ivy the Medium, you could see in the description how to do that. If you're on Instagram or TikTok, thank you for the hearts on TikTok. Diana, my beautiful producer, is going to be posting it repeatedly in the comment section because we're not allowed to pin it at the top. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Again, any type of question goes. Ask it as a yes or no question. All right, so the first one here is coming from Anna Pekka. I am a pediatric RN currently. For the career and business I am wanting to start, should I work with youth versus working with adults? You know, it's funny because I actually feel like there's going to be a greater need for the adults. So the answer on this is going to have to be no. I feel like you could in time decide that you're going to offer different skills or opportunities, sessions with both. But for the most part, it seems like it launches through care to adults. So we can't eliminate the adults in this, or else you're going against some of your life contract. Okay. Keep it in mind as you go forward. Thank you, Anna. We're going to move on to another one. Next one up is Anne. 2 Anns in a row. How peculiar. This is Anne Marie. Anne Marie says, my daughter, DMD, left me in a huge amount of debt, which I'm waiting on a court date to hold her accountable for. Will I ever catch up? Will you ever catch up financially? Yes. I think that you need to give this ballpark 2 to 3 years, and that can seem like a really long time. However, you may actually be calculating in your head, and I feel like I'm choking here. So this has also attacked your throat chakra. So this isn't really about the finances. I know to you it feels like it's about the finances, but on a karmic level, on a cosmic level, on a universal scale, the bigger karmic lessons here are in regards to the throat chakra, and having that attacked and having that shut down for so long in this process of holding her accountable. You are clearing your throat chakra. Now, the more work you do on A, speaking your truth, and B, making sure that when you did speak your truth and it was disrespected, disregarded, nothing changed, you're coming at it in such a way where you're setting a boundary, all right? And you are doing that. So the more you continue to do that, the more we're going to see flow in the throat chakra, which will affect the resources directly. We tend to think that things are not connected, that everything's a category, but that's untrue. Everything is absolutely connected. All right. So you will see drastic improvement and possibly all of this being settled between the second and third year out from now. But if you're mentally thinking it's going to take about 5 years, I think the more focus you put on your throat chakra, again, we can rein that timeline in quite a bit and get this resolved sooner than that. Okay. So try not to let it distract you from the real work. Yes, it affects resources. Yes, it's about money. Yes, it's about deception, but ultimately it's about your throat chakra. Okay. At a karmic level. So yes, you will recover from it. Absolutely. And it's worth doing. All right. We're going to move on to another one. This is for Mackenzie Mooser. Mackenzie, will I be granted a period of peace while I'm grieving, free from manipulation and interference, long enough to reach a place of true emotional stability? I heard yes if you choose it. So that isn't something that comes from everyone behaving. That isn't something that comes from people stopping the manipulation toward you. That's not something that is derived from your outside circumstances, people, places, things, and situations being just right, giving you peace, letting you have it. No, 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 no. That will never, ever, ever, ever happen. Ever. Okay? Because you are a human being on earth. So the polar opposite is exactly what you're going to attract. The more you need everyone outside of you to behave in order for you to have inner peace, the more everything outside of you is going to act up and attack. That's law of attraction. What you desperately need, you push away and attract the opposite of. So, yeah, the answer here is yes, if you choose peace. So if you choose to reject manipulation, if you're not feeding any of those negative people, situations, attempts at power and control over you, if you improve your skills in regards to protection of your mind, regulation of your nervous system, controlling your emotions and how much you feed things. Okay. If you're using lucid dreaming techniques to make sure that your dreams aren't just running away with you, going for a ride, you can control your mind, your emotions, and you can create inner peace by feeding inner peace. What we feed, we get more of. But if you are worried about all of these outside things not behaving properly enough to let me have peace, then no, the answer would shift to no. So yes, but you have to create it. Okay. Thank you, Mackenzie. We're going to move on to another one. This is from Edgar. Edgar wants to know, do you see me opening my own practice sometime in the next 2 years? Plan to offer healing services like Reiki, spiritual counseling, psychic mediumship readings, therapy, etc. Okay. So I actually got around 1.5 years, 1 year and 7 months is when you should focus on launching this. So the answer is yes. Now, what that should look like is you using your free will to start by offering services that are, number one, convenient for you to offer, and that you feel you have a lot of knowledge about, experience with, education of, and or you just really feel very passionately that you want to offer this. Okay, so there are a couple different elements that are really going to make it successful, so that by the second year you could start to bring in some of the other things. So you may not necessarily have everything, like maybe you do put everything up on your website. Okay, maybe you do have everything being offered. Thank you for the hearts on TikTok. Maybe you do have everything being offered, but they can't technically go and book it, right? So this is something I do with my schedule all the time. I'm always in there horsing around and I'm moving things and I'm like, okay, this has to be blocked out, or now I can offer more, like what I'm offering right now in the winter when I will not step outside if you pay me, okay, for 8 months is very different than my complete lack of availability in the spring, summer, and fall during my peak season. And I do that unapologetically because it's what I enjoy. It's what I have the energy for. And I am very strict on balance for myself. I want to enjoy what I'm doing. Everything has its own season and there's a reason behind it. And I think that's what you're going to have to figure out, because you're talking about offering a lot of different things. And it feels in the beginning of this answer very conflicting. But that's what you'll figure out. Okay, what you feel passionate about. And when Spirit says change it up, make sure you abide and you change it up. But this really ought to be launched at about 1.5 years to 1 year and 7 months. You've got a 2-month time frame to get all of this up there. But again, you are not at everyone's beck and call. Just remember that. Okay, control the schedule of availability. This looks good. We're going to move on to another one. Thank you, Edgar. This one is from Shauna D. Will I get a paid internship for my master's degree? It's funny because I feel like you've already got one foot in the door. It's almost like you were already told yes. So I'm going to go with yes. Now, there are 2 different ways to do this. Feels like somebody already told you yes. So if you've been knocking on a door and you already know these people, you've already been there, you've already been networking, there's some type of an examination on your title. They know a lot about your title. It may work out there. There's another opportunity. So that one comes up to the left, which is going to be the past. It's already here. It's already in the works. But there's another opportunity. If you wanted to go into Destiny Charted Future Zone, we would have something else that feels a little bit more like, I don't know if you're calling this a residency or if you called it a residency, but I'm hearing residency. Take it how it resonates. Okay. But there is this sense of like, how do I want to say this? Maybe you feeling as though you're getting more out of that one that's different, that would be new. There's almost a sense of this is bigger in the way that the people that are in charge of it, or the future potential networking and partnerships it could bring, which is inevitable. So it's almost like if I take this position, that networking is inevitable. It's almost a guarantee. Yeah, you may find yourself a little bit pulled, okay, in regards to what you want to do. But the answer is yes, it's available. All right, we're going to move on to another one. If you are tuning in late, this is the yes or no question show where you ask any type of question under the sun, pose it as an actual yes or no question, do include the first name or initials of any specific person, place, or thing that you're referring to, and I will tell you which way it's gonna go. This is unlimited for tonight. And I do ask everyone at this time to please stop for just a second, give this video a thumbs up, drop a comment of any kind. In particular, I would love to hear, thank you for the hearts on TikTok, I would love to hear where you guys are tuning in from. Okay, and please do share this video and subscribe. Thank you so much. All right, we are going to move on to another one. This is for Delilah on YouTube. Delilah says, am I focused on the right things right now? Some yes, some no. I think that in regards to relationships, you should take more attention off of that. I heard let the chips fall where they may. This is not a time for you to be focused heavily on relationships. There is a season for that, which passed for you in the last 2 years. You spent enough time on it. It's basically like, forget people, forget humans right now. And in pulling away from that energy, you're feeding it mentally and emotionally. And, you are even, I want to say, affectionately right? Giving energy over there to relationships. The more you pull away, the more these people can figure out who they are, what they want, what they bring to the table, what's required to have you in their life. Okay, let them go figure that out. It's them time. Okay, cut away from that. I do think that your increased attention on money, resources, investments, career title expansion, maybe even relocation within workspaces. So that could be residency, that could be real estate, that could be investment in, a different work, not necessarily field, but place. All of that is accurate. So yes and no. Some areas are off, some areas are spot on. All right, thank you, Delilah. We're going to move on to another one. This is for Anna Pekka. Will I meet the man I'm in my next relationship of value? I like that. Of value on a dating app. I've currently gone off of them to focus more on myself. Okay, Anna Pekka, the next good man on an app. It's really debatable. I could go two ways with this answer. It would have to be a real freaking bullseye, okay, for this to work out. So I'm just going to go with no. You don't need to be on there right now. There are a couple different reasons, though, why you don't necessarily need to be on there right now. All right. You're supposed to be focusing on some other things, your money, your self-health, some mental health stuff, some other changes that are coming in, some karmic delivery on change in a couple different areas that can level you up potentially. There's so much going on here that there's really no room for this. So that's why the potential for you two to meet has decreased almost to like a 3% option here. There's one app where it can happen at very designated times. So, you can stay on if you want. It looks almost like, just to narrow it down for you, maybe like a match.com. Now, I don't know what's out there for dating apps right now. I haven't been on in years, but I do think that, Match.com in my symbol base is this. First of all, it tends to involve older, more mature people or even professionals. It is something you have to pay for, and they do a lot of the heavy lifting in regards to like weeding out the lunatics and false accounts and bots and you know what I mean? Things like this. So there's some effort put into it before these people arrive for you to swipe or, you know what I mean, on. I think that maybe there. Okay. So an app that you are on that is like match.com. I think though you could meet this person more organically, possibly through others. And that may be a better way for you to go and just let it unfold. Like let the universe send it to you instead of trying to. There's a certain energy of chasing it down that you're supposed to be getting away from right now. And being on a dating app is reading as you're chasing it down. I wouldn't even want to meet this person under those circumstances if I were you. Can it happen? The answer is yes. Likelihood and whether or not it's of value, I would say no. Okay. So a little bit of a yes and no there on that. Let's just go with no. No, you don't need it. All right, let's see if there are any other ones coming in. We have another one here from Anne Marie, said, my dad, Jim, who is passed, when he's around me, he makes a cracking sound in my left ear. For about 2 weeks now, it's every few minutes. It's exhausting. I've asked him to stop. It's the worst when I'm trying to sleep. He won't stop. Will he ever? It's making me sick. This isn't a dad problem. This is a you problem. Your mediumistic abilities have skyrocketed. This is a common problem. Get in the psychic mediumship course. It's the only one I'm teaching in 2026. You only missed the intro. You could still jump in. It's every Tuesday, 7 to 9. You can do in-person, online, or video download. Okay, plug. This is what happens when our mediumship has increased to such an extent that we have the physical reactions, the physical triggers, and we don't know how to control it. We're not educated enough. This is going to look like chronic ear ringing and tinnitus, Dad came in and activated, but he didn't mean for it to stay activated. When his energy came toward you, it triggered it. It's what the grandmothers used to call, picking up the phone. The grandmothers used to say left for love and right for spite. When the left ear rings, it's mediumship. Pick up the phone. Who's trying to call you? This is something else you don't seem to understand really how to properly do. You can pick up the phone. You may get that part, but how do you hang it up? You have to learn how to freaking hang it up. Okay. And then the right ear is also going to start being a problem for you because that's, it's not spite, like the grandmothers would say, spite. It could be. I mean, it could be a warning, but it's just your psychic ability activating. So you got the left ear ringing for mediumship. You got the right ear ringing for psychic ability. And the reason I say, and I can't prescribe or diagnose, but that this is going to happen to you is because you can't have an increase in mediumship without automatically getting an increase in clairvoyance. It doesn't work that way. When we say psychic medium, that means you're automatically a psychic, which means you're automatically a medium. Or psychic mediumship, whatever. I think I said it in reverse. If you are a medium, you automatically have psychic abilities. Now, some psychics don't have that. They're just really psychic. If you're an empath, you have all three. So if you have an increase with your empathic ability, for example, automatically mediumship will increase. Automatically psychic ability will increase. I mean, that's a real problem. But I think that you can't just keep riding along like everything's normal. And it may have been his passing that triggered this for you. Okay. But it seems like in recent years, you've had an intuitive increase and you're watching it grow and grow and grow, and you're not learning how to control it. And so now it's controlling you. And people who have mediumistic and psychic abilities kind of increase to this degree, they can see things like irritable bowel, headaches and migraines, anxiety disorders. I can't prescribe or diagnose, especially social anxiety, tinnitus and ear ringing, sleep disturbances, in particular from 3 to 5:30 in the morning, the haunting hour. This is too much. Okay, you got to get the upper hand. You can't put this genie back in a bottle. It is a blessing, but it can certainly feel like a curse. And you can go to the doctors all you want, but I would love to see in the comment section who's gone and they're like, we don't know. I mean, this was even on the news. There was a lot of talk of this in the recent years where the doctors were like confused as to why the tinnitus has increased and none of the meds are working anymore because you got to get to the root issue. It's not a medical issue, right? It's energy. So there are no pills for it. There are no eardrops for it. It's control, learning to control it. All right. So dad didn't do that. Technically, he's causing it, but a lot of other spirits who are coming in to talk to you or channel through you are also causing it. It's not just him triggering this. And unfortunately, it ends up just being a thing where it's like, and you can spend days with that annoyance going on. I hate it. I really do. All right, Anne-Marie, hope to see you at class. Let's move on to another one. Who else has a yes or no question? This is Edgar said, thank you. Yes, I first plan to offer therapy, then little by little offer the other services. I think that would be wise. And I would not be surprised if you offer therapy and you also launch by offering Reiki. Just a suggestion, but we'll see where you're feeling it most at that time. Very exciting. Kudos. All right. We have another one coming in here from Mackenzie. Okay. Mackenzie says, can I look forward to anything good soon? It's been a drag for so long, even with how optimistic I try to be. Can you look forward to anything good soon? Okay. Is that the last of that question? I think so. Yes, you can. So you can look forward to what seems like more movement and fluidity coming in, more of a position of power, possibly you've also feeling more self-empowered, which is huge. Feeling as though because you've been doing the work on yourself, the healing, the shadow work, the boundary setting, the detoxing, that you are in the next few weeks actually feeling like I look better, I feel healthier, my mind is clear, I'm sharper, I'm faster, people want to be around me more, I'm being offered more opportunities. That's what comes from self-empowerment. Now, this idea here of you being in more of a position of power is coming more from the way others see you and are reacting to you. So we're talking about triggering manifestation, law of attraction. Also, this idea of you having more fluidity and being in motion is the law of motion, right? What is in motion stays in motion. So the longer you're in this sort of mobility, the more mobility you will automatically have. So areas, especially for the last 2 years, where you felt something happened a year and a half ago where it's like, why did that happen? You know, like you may have been questioning, why did that have to happen? Or how did I get stuck? Now, this may have involved the vehicle quite literally also, which is just symbolic, right? It's kind of creepy the way these things happen. It's like your car maybe symbolically started to act up, or your ability to get around. This could have also affected your legs. I can't prescribe or diagnose, okay? But your mobility to get around and at the speed that you wanted started to break down. And it's like that was reflective, because the outside world is always a display through symbology of what we have going on internally and what we're creating energetically. That was reflective of the shutdown, the greater shutdown, because of the way your attention was being placed in the wrong areas, and you were kind of backpedaling a lot, and then you got stuck in the muck, you know, so everything sort of shut down. Now these blocks and obstacles are going to be removed. We've got fluidity coming back in. All of these things are worth looking forward to, 100%. All right. Thank you, Mackenzie. Diana is asking if Abby is here in the comment section. So Abby, I don't know if you're here, but Diana is reaching out to you here in the comment section. Okay. Delilah is up next. Delilah said, thank you for that last message. Do you see me moving my apothecary from online to brick and mortar to a brick and mortar store? Okay, Delilah, apothecary to brick and mortar. I do see you doing it. But technically this is falling in a free will zone. So you're going to have to make that happen. And so this isn't like a yes or no, this will happen for you. You know, it's not going to happen to you. If you go out and you make it happen, it will happen. I honestly don't even feel like there are that many obstacles in the path. However, I do want to warn you that I see some red flags with doing this. You know, that's probably going to be a reading for a separate day. I'm going to have to break down each one of these. We're going to have to, you could book a money reading at any time or finance up on my website. But, you know, just because something starts easy doesn't mean it's always going to remain easy. It is a symbol of you being able to do what you set your mind to doing, in like getting the brick and mortar and the setup and the people who get engaged and cutting the rope and being on the news and like, you know, whatever. It's like, this is amazing. This is amazing. Let's all eat cupcakes and like pop the champagne and celebrate. It is amazing. But if you're not offering the right services, you could start to find that things are slowing, that the launch in the beginning is not as big as the continued foot traffic, that you have to have enough of an online presence to pay for all this overhead. There's just a lot of other random things coming up. Okay. So just be mindful. Could it happen? Yes. But this is technically in a free will zone. So it's up to you. All right. And you're going to want to get it right, because there's a lot involved with this one. All right. I want to do last call. So anyone who has dropped a donation, they're going to want to get their questions in now. Abby, I see that you're still being reached out to here. Sounds like maybe you dropped a donation, but no question. You have to always, and this is for everyone, for those of you who like to send in early questions, you can't just go on to like random social media posts or message me or email me or whatever. I don't do any of that. There is one way to get your question answered on the many, many, many live shows that we do. And that is to drop your payment, mark which show that early payment is for, and attach your question to it. Okay. There's actually two ways. The alternative is to go ahead and drop your payment wherever and show up for the show, and then make sure you're in here in the comment section. Okay. Because otherwise it's just not going to happen, because we don't chase you down and we don't collect questions from every, outlet under the sun. Mackenzie is up next. So if you guys have not gotten your question in yet, go ahead and do so at this time. And again, tonight is unlimited, so you can ask as many questions as you want. Mackenzie says, is my next romantic relationship someone currently in my life? No, not in the way that you're thinking. Could it be done? Yes, but I wouldn't recommend it. So your next significant romantic partner is not already here. You do have a couple people here you could go back to and re-entertain. And there may be a situationship type of circumstance that may confuse you from time to time, where you're like, should I do this? Or this person keeps coming around. Well, if they keep coming around, they must be interested. If they're on my social media, they must be interested. No. When that lack of effort is there, that's all you need to know. Okay. When that inconsistency is there, it speaks enough for itself. So I feel like the next important person coming in for you, and it may not be your forever person, but there's definitely like sexual chemistry. There's intellectual stimulation. There's a nice supportive, even emotional connection here that can allow for like active listening and possibly even a level up in intimacy, because true intimacy doesn't come through like sexual chemistry. It actually comes through sharing of ideas, vulnerability, and emotional expression, right? That's where genuine intimacy comes from on a universal scale. So yeah, but that person is not here yet. Okay. Let's not confuse them. Very different. You have a whole array of options going on here. You've been all over the map, girl. All right. I don't blame you. What else is there to do? There's honestly no other way to live. Just don't even really take it seriously. Just kind of have fun with it. You know what I mean? The best times in my life in dating were in my teens, when I was like, whatever, in my 20s, when I was like, whatever. The worst times in my life were in my 30s, where I actually got involved in a couple relationships and could have wrecked me. And then I got right back out of that, and I'm back into playing again. It's like, there's literally no other way to live. Just try not to put too much significance on it. But I do see you having some fun for sure. But new energy. Okay. Who else do we have coming in here? I see a couple more. Tiffany from TikTok says, where's TikTok? Over here. Hi, Tiffany. My earring has not stopped. Okay, so you also have ear ringing. My ear ringing has not stopped for a long time. For the past few months, I've been really into my empath and intuitive abilities. Should I continue to look into this? Well, I'm going to recommend to you what I recommended to the other girl who has this. I think she said 2 weeks it's been stuck. Is the psychic mediumship course. You only missed one class. I could still get you registered. Okay. But it's a 28-week training course. This is about you feeding your intuitive abilities. You've been feeding your empathic abilities, but you're not being properly trained in how to actually control it. So you already have a situation where Pandora's box has been opened, and then you're feeding it more and more and more. And so you're going to have all the natural physical reactions that come along with it that can drive you batty, that can look even to a therapist or a doctor like misdiagnoses. So be careful there. I can't prescribe a diagnose. However, we're talking about headaches, migraines. We're talking about irritable bowel syndrome. We're talking about 3 to 5:30 in the morning, the haunting hour, you being totally wide awake or interrupted. So sleep disturbances. Possibly you can't get to sleep. And when you do get to sleep, you can't stay asleep. We're talking about anxiety disorders. We're talking about the chronic tinnitus or pressure in the ears. We're talking about even bouts of depression, and you have no real trigger. You can't figure out the source of anxiety or depression. There's no rhyme or reason to it, because the doctors and the therapists aren't going to figure this out. At the root of all of it is energy connected to empathic, psychic, and mediumistic abilities. And until you get educated on all three of those areas, we don't want to be increasing those abilities. Here's what I tell my students in the psychic mediumship course. maybe you did come in here to have me like help you increase all of these abilities, but I have a strict ethical code of conduct. And that is, until you can control it, we're not increasing anything more. You have got to take care of you first, before you're giving this out to other people. And I think that's where you are right now. You've been deliberately feeding it and increasing it, but you have no sense of upper hand. Okay. Yeah. So go onto my website, ivyrivera.psychicmedium.com, and just click on psychic mediumship course to see what your options are there. And you guys reach out, because I think registration is shut. I don't even think the button is up there anymore. I could be wrong. Maybe I forgot to take it down. But anyways, we could still get you in. Again, you only missed one class. It's not a big deal. Let's move on to another one. It's funny, 2 people having the same issue. I wonder if something is going on astrologically with that. Any astrologers here? Anyone toy around with it? What is going on astrologically that they would be having these types of breakthroughs that we normally see when the veil is thinnest, like in the fall? You know, is it something planetary? What's going on with Jupiter, I wonder? Okay. Anyways, let's see if we have any more coming in. Okay, so we are at time. All right, very good. So thank you everyone for tuning in. If you need to book a reading, a party, a psychic fair, you can go on to ivyrivera.psychicmedium.com. It's a self-booking system, and get that taken care of. I will be back on, I believe it's Sunday, for the All Spirit Messages show, which you guys voted in for the 2026 show lineup. So you guys blew that test show out of the water. All Spirit Messages is 100% mediumship. So tune in for that Sunday. You can ask a specific question. It will be unlimited, of deceased loved ones, ancestors, guides, angels, pets on the other side, or you can just receive whatever message is coming through for you at that time. Yes, that's going to be Sunday. Okay. And then next Wednesday, thank you, Diana. You could take that down. And then I will see you after that next Wednesday for Coffee with Your Angels, my live show. Okay. Back here, all these 9 p.m. Eastern on all of these platforms. Coffee with Your Angels is where I deliver out whatever healing message your angels feel you need to hear at this time. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great night. Have a great weekend. See you soon. Thank you, Diana. Thank you, Spirit.